The Indian subcontinent has such a rich heritage that it is next to impossible to cover the entire history in one syllabus. Stories of heroic valor and mighty empires have been lost in the passages of time. In the next couple of minutes, I am going to tell you about one such hero, Lachit Bodphukan of the Ahom Empire, and why even today, after so many centuries, his name evokes a sense of pride and honor. July 31st, 1658, Aurangzeb had just ascended the throne of the Mughal Empire. As we all know, the Mughals were expansionists and it did not come off as a surprise when he wanted to take the Ahom Empire. Point to be noted, this was not the first time the Mughals tried doing so. In fact, the Mughals had been at war with the Ahoms since 1615 and each time they tried attacking them, they failed. But this time it was different. In 1663, the Mughals were successful in overthrowing the Ahom Empire. The then Ahom Emperor Jayadhwaj Singh ceded the Ahom Empire to the Mughals and paid 3 lakh rupees as war reparations. Worst of all, he had to send his own daughter Ramani Ghabru and his niece to the Mughals to join the Mughal harem. It was complete humiliation for the proud Ahoms, and heartbroken, Jayadhwaj Singh passed away. But as they say, the only thing more dangerous than a lion is an wounded lion. And boy, were the Ahoms wounded. The successor to the Ahom Empire, Chakradhwaj Singh, decided to avenge their humiliation and in 1665 declared that the Ahoms would no longer be a part of the Mughal Empire. Coming to the Ahom military, we have to understand that they were not just some group of tribals. In fact, they were very disciplined and the army had order and ranks, like Deka, under whom 10 soldiers served, Bora, under whom 20 soldiers served, Sekias, under whom 100 soldiers served, Hajurika, under whom 1000 soldiers served, Rajkova, under whom 3000 soldiers served, and finally 6th and the last, under whom 6000 soldiers served. Now the commander-in-chief who controlled all these units was given the position of Bodphukan and hence the legendary name Lachit Bodphukan. So when Sayyid Firoz Khan, the new Faujdar at Guwahati, demanded that the Ahom Empire pay up the money, Lachit launched an attack. So Lachit Bodphukan and his army sailed down the Brahmaputra in 2 divisions, and by November 1667, Guwahati was recaptured and the Mughals were driven away. But this angered Aurangzeb a lot. He hit back with a much greater force. Aurangzeb sent a massive army consisting of 30,000 infantry and 18,000 cavalry to recapture Guwahati. Lachit knew that he stood no chance against such a huge army. So what did he do? See, no matter how many soldiers and firepower you have, if the battlefield is not plain, then you will not be able to use the numbers to your advantage. And Lachit Bodphukan knew this very well. He decided to use the local geography of Guwahati, the hilly terrains, to his advantage. The lack of open fields negated the strength of the Mughal army and allowed Lachit Bodphukan and his men to carry out hit and run strikes. The war dragged on for the next couple of years, and the Mughals were so tired that they even tried to solve it using diplomatic means. But Lachit Bodphukan was not the one to give up. The final battle of this war was fought in 1671, the Battle of Saraighat. This was a massive naval attack carried out by the Mughal Admiral Munawar Khan in the Brahmaputra river at Saraighat. The Mughals had huge ships with cannons attached at the sides, which were completely capable of destroying the small boats of the Ahoms. And since this attack was carried out in the rivers, they could not use the advantage of the local geography like the last time. The Ahoms were so terrified that most of them were discussing of going back home when Lachit Bodphukan stood up and said that he would rather perish while fighting than run away and go back home. Despite being injured and battle weary, Lachit Bodphukan asked for a boat and single-handedly went along to face the Mughals. The sheer bravery of Lachit Bodphukan lifted the morale of the Ahom army and they all decided to fight back. Despite the sharp contrast in sizes, the giant ships of the Mughals and the small boats of the Ahoms, the Ahom army were undeterred. They went into the sea, faced the Mughal forces and started engaging in hand-to-hand melee combats. In fact, the small size of the Ahom boats was a blessing in disguise. Due to their small size, they could easily maneuver and avoid the crossfire of the cannons, and at the same time engage in close combats with the Mughal forces. And the Mughals, with the giant ships and cannons, could not do much harm to the Ahom boats. Soon, Munawar Khan was killed, because of which the Mughal army was forced to retreat and the Ahoms won the war. Now this is one of many such stories. India has many such Lachit Borfukhans and kings and dynasties of whom most of us don't know. Unfortunately, a large portion of our school curriculum has been dedicated to select few empires, and the rest of them have been completely forgotten. It is high time we integrate the contributions made by other states and realize how crucial it is to preserve our heritage.